j'ai vu Maître Jacob, premier, Monsieur derrière, vous êtes le deuxième, et Maître Marc Nérandac sera le troisième.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be one of the extremes. I've practiced in front of the International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda since 1999. 3 appeals, 2 trials. It's my firm and unwavering belief that not a single judgment out of the trial chambers or the appeal chambers, including the acquittals, by the way, of the International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda is safe. Not a single one of them. I believe the same thing about the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia. It's all well and good to talk about the stated goals which the people who applaud international criminal law and who set up these courts say they're there to do. We're there to promote peace, reconciliation, the end of impunity. But there's a proverb, you know, I hear what you say, but I see what you do. And it's very difficult to say that international criminal law has achieved anything but the opposite of those goals. In Rwanda, as I think other speakers have said, what the effect of the International Criminal Tribunal has been that on behalf of the government of Rwanda, it has gathered up the leading lawyers, doctors, businessmen, military leaders, church leaders of Rwanda and neutralized them. So that the Hutu population, the majority of Rwanda, is denuded of its leadership, and its leadership is internationally condemned. That has helped to consolidate the vicious regime of Kagame and granted Kagame impunity, the exact opposite of what the stated goal of the international criminal law system is. He has impunity. We've heard a number of speakers say 6 million people have been killed in Congo by Kagame's forces. Is Kagame going to be indicted? Is he going to come in front of the International Criminal Court? The answer to that is only when the United States gets tired of him, which points to the fundamental problem. It's not good enough to say there are flaws in the system. The flaw is the system, in my view. And I don't think you can get around it. You can't prettify it. In a world where there's such massive imbalances of power, where who decides, and I think Brother Atachi mentions this before, who is the international community that describes what these serious crimes are? The attack on Iraq was illegal. It has led to the death of hundreds of thousands of innocent people. Are you going to sit there and tell me that this system is going to be prettified so that we can put George Bush in front of an international criminal court? The attack on Yugoslavia, almost every international lawyer agrees, was illegal. NATO's attack on Yugoslavia was illegal. And the attack on Libya, was the international criminal law system responsible for leading to peaceful outcomes? In the middle of both of those things, the international criminal law system was used as an instrument of war. In the case of Libya, the indictment of Muammar Gaddafi is mentioned at the outset, giving us a casus belli. Same thing in the middle of the the attack on Yugoslavia by NATO, when the enthusiasm for that attack was waning, particularly in Italy and so on. Louise Arbour got up on television and told the world, in my recollection, standing next to a NATO minister, the British defense minister, and told the world that she was going to unpack the secret indictment of Milosevic and that you could not negotiate with war criminals. So international criminal law has become not an instrument of peace, but war by other means. In fact, I mean, if people here read the Globe and Mail, Canada's national newspaper, if I read it correctly, a month or two ago, Louise Arbour, who was the first, I think, or second, sorry, prosecutor for the International Criminal Tribunal for former Yugoslavia and Rwanda, says that we should expand responsibility to correct humanitarian intervention law so that we could effect, and come out and say, we're going to effect regime change in order to effect, send in military intervention to effect arrests of people indicted by the ICC. Now, I think, it's nothing new that's going on here. It's nothing new. When Caesar invaded Gaul, he brought back the Gaulish chief, whose name I can't pronounce because with a V. Thank you very much. Somebody did. And he brought him to Rome. and after 2 years he publicly executed him. I can't really see the difference here. And I think at the end of the day, the victims of international law, the people who are going to be indicted, when you talk about universal jurisdiction, to my knowledge, to date, it's universal anti-Hutu jurisdiction. I'm not sure, and I can't see, you know, when Bill Clinton sets foot in Canada, that he's going to be arrested and charged with war crimes in respect to the attack on Yugoslavia. Frankly, even if crimes against the peace are justiciable, which they aren't at international law at the moment. Anyway, I've spoken for way too long, but I think there is a just result, actually. There is a just result. We scrap it. Thank you.
No, I'm going to respond to that. It's all right. No, I'm not. I don't want to. It's a comment more than a question, and I take everything you say, and I understand this very you know, these critiques about the system. I have two things to say. First is, what's the alternative? When I say there's no turning back, I mean it. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's, you know, there are times in the evolution of the law or even humanity that, you know, you pass a point where there's no turning back. My point is this idea that now we see, you know, gross violations of human rights being committed here and there. The consequence of that is that we can't stay idle. We have to do something. So that idea then is how to transform it. If the whole system... Well, we first is the state. The whole idea, hold on. But the point is, the international tribunals, as bad as they've become or as good as they might become, is the response to the failure of those who had the primary responsibility to prosecute people, to do something. Now, the ICTR is, and this is the tribunal you guys know most about, is the worst example. You know, and the hope that we can have is that we build from this experience to do something better. Now, what's the alternative? That's my question to you. Is it, what, nothing, maybe? Yeah, nothing. Just impunity, go back to the beach?
Not impunity, but punish the ones who deserve to be punished.
Yeah. From whose perspective? That's
National jurisdiction.
Yeah, well, hold on. So there's two things. I'm all for, when George Bush came to Canada, there was a lot of people in the streets asking the government of Canada to arrest him. So the idea is not that, you know, this is the critique that the system is selective. And this is true. It's a fundamental problem. The selectivity of international criminal justice is a fact. You know, but the point is, it's a fact also of the UN. It's a fact about the fact that the UN is based on 5 permanent members of the, you know, it's a major reform that needs to be done. Now, working within the system, what can be done? That's the question. I'm not one to argue for a void. I don't think that's a solution. And I don't think that we can just stay idle and do nothing. We being collectively the international community, I think. It doesn't exist as I know you want, but yeah, people.
Then prosecute all the criminals.
Yes. Well, the question to this is, you're right. I mean, ideally, again, there's the idealist, and in this case, it's we're going to prosecute them all, and true, we should. There's 2 issues about that. First is that, it's not possible in a kind of practical manner. But second, does that mean because we don't prosecute them all that we should not prosecute any? Is that the deal we have? Is that the solution? Is there not a middle ground, or should we just not? That's the question, I believe.
Some within one section.
Oh, this is a problem. This is a problem.
See,
this is what I said, and I'm gonna, sorry, we're chaotic, but this is one thing I said, and this is true. Like in Rwanda, one of the major failures of the system is that it only went against one party to the conflict. This is a huge problem. And I said the same thing about the ICC. Because Uganda and the DRC and have themselves referred the cases to the ICC, it forces selectivity because they need the cooperation of the state. It's the same thing in Rwanda. So this is a true problem. I admit it. I'm not defending this. I'm noting this. And then noting is as a big problem, as a big failure of the system. And you're right on this, for sure.
Okay, I have recognized 2 people. We are running short of time, and we close the shop here, this shop. 5 minutes. Okay, you can speak.
That's just before the tomatoes start getting to me.